Now down, brown cow. Now down, brown cow. Hey, thank you so much for deciding to watch my first podcast. I really appreciate it. On this week's episode, I got the chance to talk to George Papadakos. For those of you who don't know him, he's currently running 31 marathons in 31 days to raise money for the Alzheimer Society of Canada. Yeah, that's right. 31 marathons in 31 days. Shit, that makes me tired. Anyway, we sat down and spoke about the struggles and accomplishments he's had so far since he started his journey. We also spoke about the closing of Corey's restaurant and some of his tips and tricks for beginner runners. We also spoke about how his family was affected in 2020 with the beginning of the pandemic and how he made the best of it. Again, he is raising money for the Alzheimer Society of Canada. Below this video, there is a link and you can go there to donate. Any money helps. Any money helps. Any money helps. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please share if you do enjoy. Thanks. How are you,
First
man?
time I've ever done it on my phone. I'm well. How are you?
Good. Honestly, the phone's not so bad. I had to use that a couple times because my internet sucks at my house. So.
Yeah, well, I had to find a spot in my house where I didn't have a dog or kids or wife running in the background making noise, because my wife is one of those people that the quieter she tries to be, the noisier she is. So I went down to the bar, got the bar behind me, and
Nice.
cracked myself a drink and just been chilling because I've been kind of going all day. So it's been a good day.
Yeah. How many kilometers did you guys get in today?
Today, our community put in 315K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How are you feeling today?
I actually, good. I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. And yesterday wasn't too bad after I got kind of warmed up and started moving a bit. A good friend of mine, for Marathons for Memories, decided he was going to run a marathon today. He's never ran one before, and he's not trained for it. And I'm not exactly sure of his numbers. I think he was under 5 hours.
That's good.
Yeah, he completed his first marathon. So I was able to ride beside him for the whole day, which is pretty special for me. And I was able to talk him through some of the dark spots, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Is there like a specific kilometer that you reach every time you're doing a marathon where it's like, this is the hill, like as soon as we get past this, the rest is kind of easier? Or is there a kilometer you get to where it's more of a mental game at that point than it is physical?
I don't know if there's ever like 1 kilometer. I know there's times, and from elite down to amateur runners, you're going to have a time where, your mind starts to wander a bit, whether you've gone out too hard or not hard enough, or, you start thinking about time goals. Have I eaten enough? There's always going to be a dark patch. And I think the more training you do and the more experience you gain, is a good indicator of how you're going to, perceive those dark times and how you're going to get through them.
What have you been doing as for your eating? Like, I know I've seen you with the honey and the coffee and I've seen you're doing a lot of supporting local with a lot of that stuff, but is there like a specific regimen you have every night, or?
As far as every night, I eat quite a bit all day. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm vegan. I've been vegan for about a year and a bit now. So a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, a lot of good, healthy carbs that, help sustain energy. So, usually a typical day is probably about 5 to 6 carbs, especially when I'm running the next day. And then I'll wake up and have a big bowl of oatmeal with, all my kind of fixins in it, and raisins and sunflower seeds and whatever I want, maple syrup on it, because calories aren't going to be a big thing when you're running 42K. I don't eat anything special. I do like rice. I like ramen, brown rice ramen and things like that, things that I can make savory dishes with. And like, I used to be a big fan of Mr. Noodle, which is kind of weird. But we found a healthier alternative, and I just make my own soups, and it's made my wife happy. And it's not too bad. A little more labor intensive than just putting noodles and the spice packet in some water and then boiling it for 5 minutes. But anyways, you get the same effect, and it's pretty good. And I found that things like that have really helped me out. I've been eating a lot of I make like a sesame seed treat called pastili, which is a Greek honey and sesame seed treat. They're really good. I've been using these maple candies that Hayes Haven make for me especially, and they're just pure maple sugar, edible, but they just dissolve in your mouth and gives me all the energy I need for a long day.
Nice. I've seen you, like, I know Trevor Stute. I've known him for a while now. I see that you're doing workouts in the morning with him. I think that one of my biggest fears, I've never ran a marathon in my life. I think that'd be pretty cool to be able to get to. I don't know if I've ever really looked at running that way, but are you ever worried about wearing yourself out in the morning before going out to a run?
Well, the workouts that we're doing are what we've been doing since I've been running is more upper body. What I do is I use it kind of as a primer to kind of get my body ready for the day. To be totally honest, I get engaged, my body gets warmed up, I get limbered up. I feel like I've been in service already, helping Trevor with his goals. And, it just allows me to start my day early too, right? So I'll get up at 5, get coffee, I'll have a meal, I'll work out, get done, have another meal, do the things that I normally do, keep my routine the same. And then it allows me to, at least however long the marathon takes, I know that I've done all the things that I normally do. So I'm not thinking about, oh man, I still have to do my gratitude journal. I still got to do this. I still got to do that. So it feels like I've accomplished things. So, because you never know, like a marathon, things could go awry at any time. You might have just one of those days where, you don't feel like you're going to be as fast as you have been. You might bonk, you might have an ache, you might have to walk more than you needed to. So, you just take care of some business, and my wife and I are really good at that. Getting a lot of our work done before anybody's even up and out of bed. So that's kind of just one of our practices that we do every morning.
Yeah, that's impressive. Honestly, I think that the morning is my least productive time of the day for sure. I'm just trying to get myself up and out of bed just to get to work, let alone get up and do a workout and then get everything done for my day before going and running a marathon. I think you've probably ran more kilometers this year than I've ran in my life, or this month. So I don't know how you do it, man. I know there's a lot of people out there that are just like, how does this guy run so much? I know that's just the easiest way of putting it, but it's phenomenal. Like, obviously your plan wasn't to get hurt. I don't think anyone's plan going into this stuff is to get hurt, but that's what comes with the challenge. I know that I've watched a lot of your Facebook videos, and I did see that the Alzheimer Society meant a lot to you because of Nico's grandmother and aunt, I believe I heard you say before.
Right.
When I know that you said back in August that's when you started to make this a real goal and something that you really wanted to do. Is that, like, has it ever been in a thought in your mind before to raise, like, obviously you've wanted to raise money for Alzheimer's, but has there ever been, like, is this the biggest step you've taken towards that?
Like you said, I've taken it upon ourselves. We always try and raise as much money as we can during the Walk for Memories month, which is January, is Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
Okay.
My daughter and our family have really kind of taken this month as a good month to raise money. I've hosted 5 charity duathlons in Tillsonburg as well that have raised, I think, in excess of $14,000 over the 5 years that I ran it. So it was pretty successful as well. When I was formulating this during 2020, COVID, as a triathlete, all my races were getting deferred, some not until the last second. So when I came into September, I was looking at November as Ironman Arizona, which I was hoping to get to, because, it looked like they're going to open up the borders and, things were starting to, flatten out. And then all of a sudden with school starting, things just peaked. And, it kiboshed that dream. So I think the beginning of October, I deferred Ironman Arizona until next year or this year. And, I had all this fitness in the bank that I had to use. I felt like I needed to use for something more important than Ironman Arizona. And I figured, and I kind of thought about this in the summer. But around the same time that I was deferring Ironman Arizona, I was like, maybe I should do something for Alzheimer's. And I kind of what I wanted to do was actually run 2021 kilometers in January. And it worked out to something like 60 kilometers a day. So obviously you look at 42 kilometers a task, so 60 is much more than that. I mean, obviously, even just the sheer thought of it, I was like, there's no way. Like, I know that I can't do 60. I might've been able to do it a couple times, but for the month, not likely. But I said, okay, well, how about a marathon a day? And, you start piecing it together. I can do it this way. I can break them down. I can walk them. I can do whatever. And I kind of put it in the back of my mind. And I remember waking up one November night, like I felt like I'd just gone to bed. It was like 12 o'clock. And I was awake for like 2 or 3 hours, just thinking about, I could do that. Right. And then I got the ball rolling. I started like, yeah, that would be so awesome. Like if I could do 31 marathons in 31 days, raise money for the Alzheimer Society of Oxford, be an amazing accomplishment for myself. And, and I knew, I mean, we've raised just under $21,000 or $21,000 to date. So not even halfway through the month. And we've already, eclipsed that 2/3 point. So that's pretty exciting. And I knew we would have no problem achieving that goal. Actually, and my first goal was 13,000. Wow. And I quickly changed that. We started seeing some big donors come in. I was like, I got to make it bigger. It's got to be bigger than that. So, so definitely, I thought about that and look where it's gone. Like it's amazing. The community support right now has been truly amazing. There's no words really when I start to think about how the community's embraced, my injury for one. I was very honest and just let everybody know that, injuries happen and I was a little frustrated and a little disappointed in the fact that I wasn't going to achieve what I set out to do. And it was my community that actually said, I'll get you those kilometers. What do you need today? I get texts every day like, George, how many kilometers do we need today? What are we at right now? And it's to the point, it's like, you know what, run whatever you can, because there's such a big community right now. It's almost 40 to 50 people. And that number is growing every day. And, when we started Sunday, and the first day we had 147 kilometers ran between X amount of people. And today, 315. So, that's a huge jump. And every day that number is going up. Like yesterday was 218, today almost 100 more. So, it's amazing. And every time one community member joins and runs a kilometer and shares on their wall or on their social that, hey, I supported Marathons for Memories, it goes that much further into Ontario and into different feeds and then different social medias. Yeah, and definitely. More money comes in. It's amazing just how it snowballs that way.
Yeah. I remember thinking back to this when I thought about having you on here, and then I saw my news feed just blow up with a bunch of people that obviously have met you either through Corey's or seen you in town or one place or another. They're running these kilometers, and sometimes you weren't even in the video. It was just the miles for marathons or whatever it was called was tagged in there. But I do remember going into Corey's, even with people that weren't even from Tillsonburg, and you'd obviously be the person who came and got our order and did our stuff. And the way that you talked and conversed with me and with every single person that you had spoken to, it was like you had known us for 10 years, 15 years. Like you always treated every single person as if they were your best friend, or every single person was the same to you. Everyone was even. You always treat everyone with so much respect. And I think that's gone a long way so far with this whole thing, because I'd leave the restaurant sometimes and the guy, like my friends would look at me like I was like addicted to Corey's, because they'd be like, how are you best friends with the waiter? Like, how do you even know this guy? I'm like, honestly, like I've met him 4 or 5 times, definitely a lot more than that, but definitely met him a bunch of times coming into Corey's and seeing your face, and you're always just like, you're always joking around, and then it was just, I think that your impact on the community is a lot larger than what you think, even with what you've seen so far. I've got so many friends that are reaching out, like, do you remember George from Corey's? Like that guy who would always just sit down and talk to you, and just like he would chirp or shoot the crap, or like he was just the funnest guy to talk to. He's running a marathon a day. I'm like, man, I'm telling you right now, unless there's some deal going on at Krispy Kreme, there is no way I'm running. So I wanted to get your opinion on what you would do if you had to train me. Maybe maybe take it easy on me. No, don't lay too many chirps. But is there something, like, obviously you're saying you went vegan, which is got to be, I think for me to go vegan is a lot different than for someone else to go vegan. I've eaten probably too much meat my entire life. I think that our society probably does. But I think it'd be very hard for me to do. So you went vegan a year ago. Like, you obviously have done, I've seen your the number badges hanging in your basement during your live videos. You've obviously done triathlons or marathons or something in the past for you to be able to, I'm assuming you didn't just say in August, I'm going to start running marathons, and you got on a treadmill and started running 42 kilometers a day. It's not something you do overnight. So obviously you've been training for a while.
Right.
Is there any training tips you would give to someone who's new to running, like ease into it, or start on a treadmill, or start on the road? Like, is there any tips you could give?
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say thank you. I mean, for those that do know me from Corey's, I really did love that business, and I had a passion for not only the business, but for the people that I served. I truly did love that business. It's something I miss. I miss talking with the people. I don't really miss the vocation, perhaps, but I do miss the people in the conversation and just being inspired by people that I met and came in. Because that was my livelihood. So I truly do appreciate that. And sometimes, those special relationships, they come back. And like you said, people that I've touched in the past by just being a friendly server, are now coming to the surface now, right? We're like, oh, remember that George guy? He's from Corey's. Oh yeah, let's, and so I'm getting a lot of that. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a big point for sure. The community in Tillsonburg is amazing. As far as training, I started training for triathlon in 2007, and coming from a soccer background, and a goalie at that, I was a keeper. Played keeper for, my college team and some premier level teams, and then our home team in Tillsonburg, which was, where I ended up raising my family and living. So it was really, really close to home, and I loved playing with the boys. When I decided to get out of soccer as I was getting a little bit older, I figured, I wanted to transition into something that would continue to keep my fitness, and triathlon just seemed to be one of those things that, let's jump into something that you have no idea what you're doing. And, learning how to run is one of those things that I could tell you what to do, but you're going to have to figure out some stuff that what your body can and cannot do as well. I could tell you to go for a 25-minute run, but I couldn't tell you, what kind of paces and stuff like that, because we don't know anything about, your run yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say is take it slow. A lot of people try and, I'm going to run 25K or I'm going to run 5K. Like, some people look at 5K as a very daunting task. And it is for the unseasoned person, right? Because it's 5 kilometers.
Man, I ain't running 5 kilometers
but with
right
a little
now.
knowledge
There's
and
no
a
way.
little know-how. Yeah. With a little know-how, it's not too hard. I know a lot of people use a walk run kind of method to achieve a 5K. and then you just work from there, right? A lot of people, I think if I were to give one tip for anybody trying to run a 5K, I would say alternate, 2 minutes running or 3 minutes running with a 1 minute walk, and just do that till you have 5K, and easily attainable, or 4 minutes run, 2 minute walk, or something to that effect, something where you don't get too gassed, and then you're able to recover. You look for those little recoveries as your break, and then you got to run for 4 minutes, and then you take another break, so until you get to your 5K, and then just work with that kind of recipe until you're running 5K. And then there's a whole, as you want to get faster, there's a whole list of things that we can do, right? You can work on drills and speed work, and just getting into all the runner's jargon to make you fast. But I mean, in terms of just getting you from the couch to 5K, I think there's a lot of easy ways. And then there's just like my friend Garrett Pellebor today, he ran a marathon with no training, and I mean, he can run, but he's never ran that distance before, and he just threw himself into the fire. Let's just see what I can do, right? He had a plan. He took breaks when he needed to take breaks. He walked when he needed to walk, and he got it done, right? So, sometimes I think a lot of people, they get wigged out by a big dream, and they're like, oh man, like, what I intended to do at the beginning of this month was run 31 marathons, 31 days. Yeah, it is crazy. It's super crazy. But I attacked it day at a time, right? I ran a marathon, and then the next day I regrouped. The next day, if I had to change something or change my eating, I changed it. And then the next day I ran another marathon, and then I ran, what I mean? I did that for 9 days, and I learned a lot about what you can push through. I was losing 2 toenails. My knee was sore. I have probably Achilles tendonitis, and I ran 4 marathons on that. And, just all the mental struggles that you have, like, because the first thing you think of is your health, right? You want to do this great thing, but at the same time, you don't want to be laid up in an air cast with a ruptured Achilles for 6 months, So, you have those internal struggles, and then, you have the weight of, people saying, George, you got this, you can do it. And, and it's great. I love it. And, deep down, I wish I was healthy, because I would be out there running still, so it's been really good. So, I say to the novice runner, I said, just go out and see what you can do. Because to be totally honest, people think that they can't do things when they've never even tried. And that's the thing that we try and, push on people. And I never say, just go run a marathon if you've never run before, but, 5K, 5,000 meters, go to the track, do that. I think it's 15 times, something like that. So I can't think of the number.
I think it's got to be a big mental game. Like, this cannot just be a strain on your body. I think I'm not a runner, as you can clearly tell, but there's got to be a mental side of this it's got to overweigh the physical side. Like, obviously, like you just said, there's a lot of people that are encouraging you and telling you can do this, and that's awesome. Like, it's got to be great. You got to realize, like, you obviously realize you've shown all the support through the live messages, that you're so grateful for all the support, but it's also, like you said, like, it's got to be a little bit of a weight on you. You're just like, I want to do this so bad, but, like, obviously your health has to come first. You're doing such an amazing thing already, and you're still running. Like, you ran like 10K in one of the days after you got hurt with a hurt Achilles. Like,
yep.
There's a lot of people that don't get up off the couch to run, period. And you're doing it, and you're doing it for a great cause. And honestly, with how the world is right now, like, what else are you supposed to do? Right? Like, at least it gets you out there, gets you in fresh air, gets you involved in your community, and you're raising money for a great cause. But back to my original point, the mental game has to be so much bigger than the physical game. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just putting myself in your shoes. I can't imagine the weight on your shoulders, just wanting to make sure that everyone's happy, wanting to make sure that you reach your goal and make sure you're not letting anyone down. And I want you to know, like, especially coming from me, like, you're definitely not letting me down. Like, I've come home every day from work, and I sit on the couch and I watch TV, and it's easy to just sit down and have your routine, put on your Netflix, eat some dinner, knock it off the couch, look at your phone. Oh, look, it's 9:00. Let's go upstairs to bed, kind of thing. And it's very easy to get into that routine. but honestly, just watching your videos, like your video is on Facebook before I've even woke up. Like you're already working out, you're already in your little home gym, you're already putting out like positive feedback to people, even though that you're obviously probably upset that you're hurt now and that you couldn't run a marathon every day, which obviously that was your overall goal, 31 marathons in 31 days. That's awesome. But you're still putting in kilometers, even though you're hurt. You're still running at home. You're still doing training. You're still getting out the word to get people to donate to Alzheimer's, to put in kilometers for Alzheimer's. And just like you said, every single person that's posting those videos or posting a picture of their kilometers and putting that hashtag in, you go from your feed of maybe 1,000 friends or 500 friends, whatever it is. If half of those people share it, that's going to another 500 people per person. Like it's the pyramid effect or the triangle
Yeah.
scheme or whatever it's called. But anyway, it gets your word out. And
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know, like, I've heard it from many people that they're just blown away with your progress so far. And I reached out to a couple friends of mine that have watched your progress so far, and they're just no one's ever even mouthed that they're like, oh, he couldn't, like, he got hurt, he couldn't do marathon a day. Like it's never even been a thought in someone's head. So I don't know if that's what you've been thinking. I'm not trying to put words in your mind or in your mouth. So, but I just wanted you to know that the people that I've heard from are blown away with what you've done so far, and the fact that a cause that a lot of people don't even think about. Like I know a friend of mine, Dylan Dulster, when he passed away, we started doing the kidney walk. It's a thing in Tolstenberg every year. I didn't even know it was a thing until he had passed away, and we were starting to do this walk to raise money for him. And so like just your live videos alone and you putting it on Facebook and all that stuff is huge. Like it's gone so far, and I've seen it circle back where it's like people that I didn't know that would even know you, that are not even in Tillsonburg, that might be in Delhi or Simcoe or Norwich, or now they're sharing it. It's like it's obviously starting to spread out. There's more people hearing about it, and I just wanted you to know that there's a lot of people behind you, regardless of how this turns out. And right now, there's people putting in more kilometers a day with you at home than when you're on the road. So, but anyway, again, back to my first point, the mental game. That's got to be the bigger struggle, is it not?
Yeah, I think again, I mean, obviously, when I started this journey, I thought I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I've said this quite a few times. But as I got into it and people started getting behind me, I could feel them lifting me up. So really, my mental game was really just trying to temper down the pain. It wasn't the kilometers. I was never looking at a kilometer and going, oh man, like I got another 7. It was more like, okay, this Achilles hurts. Like I'm limping or, hobbling pretty much to get the kilometers in. I've got my dad or my mom in a slow crawl behind me in a car that they've been following me for 35K to make sure that I'm going to make it and not, have a leg collapse or something like that. And to keep me safe on the road. And, like I'm like, oh man, like you guys don't need to be here with me. And, so mentally I was there. My body was just failing me. It was just a matter of, a small little niggle that went from one foot. It put a lot of pressure on, another side of my body. And then I had an achy knee. And then I think that it just moved around and it just settled into my Achilles. And normally with a runner that bumps his volume up to a massive amount from a good amount, but like just really, when you're running, maybe 120 kilometers a week and you go, okay, well now I'm going to triple that.
Yeah.
Your body's going to react in some way, especially if you run it in a certain way. I was running them probably too quick. So yeah, it obviously caught up with me, and obviously that's my long distance inexperience coming to a head there. Where my mind was super strong was saying, okay, can my body handle another one? So every day I'd come home, I'd recover, I'd eat, I'd ice, I'd heat, I'd ice, I'd do that all night, get to bed early, get up, and start that process. And if it started with a workout in the morning with Trevor, it started with a workout. And then, I'd eat, I'd get my shoes on, and I just 1 kilometer at a time, and I never looked more than 1 kilometer at a time. So when your mind is just really focused on the task at hand, it didn't really have time to wander and go into dark spots. Now, there was a day that I started, and my wife had to give me an affirmation at the door because I was pretty upset. And I was just like, I just don't want to hurt anymore. Like, to be totally honest, I wasn't tired of running the 42K. I was tired of every kilometer was going to hurt. And I knew that. And I was just tired of the pain. And my wife just said, like, listen, are you going to do it? And I was like, yeah, of course I am. She said, you got to turn this shit around. You got to find a way to, think about the end game and the end goal. And, I said an affirmation for about 10 kilometers that day. Like, that's all I said. I didn't listen to music. I didn't look behind me, didn't look up really. I just kind of said this affirmation. In 10K, I started to get my feet under me and everything started to change. And I turn around and now I've got 2 cars behind me. And I got my mom, my dad, and my stepmom, and my wife, and my daughter, and we're all going together. And we're going down this road to Port Bruce because I was running with the wind that day to give me a little bit of a break, and the sun was in my face, and I just got into a rhythm and a flow. But it's funny, your mind can go many different ways, and you can decide whether you want to go down where it wants you to go, or you can change your route and find a new path. And there's a lot of times when I encourage that. I wanted to see where it would take me, where it would try to take me, and then lead it, and sometimes it took my wife, getting out of the car and running beside me for, 500 meters or a kilometer or something to kind of get me back from the dead. Or, I might've had to stop and stretch up against a car to kind of keep the legs going. But, it's funny. Your brain and your mind are very strong things, and they can really overpower what your body wants to do.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think that's one of my bigger struggles. Obviously, my enthusiasm, and I procrastinate a lot. Like, obviously, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. I want to get out and I want to get fit. And I've been focusing right now on my diet more than I have been on the physical fitness part of everything. I definitely want to get better at that. I want to get stronger.
That's good.
I want to get better. Sorry?
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, obviously everybody thinks, oh yeah, I'm going to start working out. But you know what? If I always tell people, you want to really see good gains on your body, just eat consistently, right? Set a goal of, like if you drink beer, I drink beer, find a goal. This is what I'm going to do. And try and eat a few more fruits and vegetables during the week, and track your food. If you kill your nutrition, you'll see better gains than you will if you keep the same nutrition and go to a gym, right? Because you will never outtrain a bad diet ever. And you'll hear that a lot. People like, oh, I'm in the gym 5 days a week or 6 days a week. And a lot of times you don't need to be in the gym 5 or 6 days a week unless you're a professional bodybuilder. You can go 3-4 days, and that's what I work out, like strength training wise. But my diet is very consistent. Every day I'm eating about 5 to 6 servings of vegetables and 4 fruits and, 4 proteins and 3 carbs. Like, so I'm very meticulous that way. And, I do have the odd treat here and there, but for the most part, about 80% perfect, 20% I get to cheat a little bit. So that's where you're going to find your most gains, is in the kitchen. Yeah. Obviously physical fitness has other attributes, right? You have the endorphin high, and work on your cardiovascular system and your muscular system as well. It strengthens your bones. It's got plenty of other health benefits as well. But in the kitchen is where you're going to see your massive gains.
Yeah, I think my thing is like you said, the mental, not looking at how many kilometers you've ran and how many kilometers you still have to go. I think that's my biggest downfall with that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, when I went to the gym pre-COVID to lose weight, I'd get on the treadmill and I would do the run at 5 or 7 for 10 minutes, and then drop down and walk for 3 or 2 minutes, and go back up and go back down and go back up and go back down. But my biggest thing was I always wanted to make it to a half hour. I always wanted to get it to at least a half hour before I went and did weights, or went on a different type of machine. And that 30 minutes was just putting a time frame on it, or putting an amount, or constantly looking at the amount that you're running or walking, or regardless of what it is, looking at how far you have to go. That would just put so much strain on me. And just the entire time I would just be so focused on, I have so far to go. Like, this sucks. Like, why do I? And then then you get in your own head and you're like so negative. Like, this is terrible. Why am I doing this? Like, there's a freaking McDonald's like 2 doors over. Like, why do I not just go home and not do this stuff? And like, it takes a lot, I think, to get yourself out of that mental frame of mind, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you know what, and what it is it's just a habit, right? We just need to break down those kind of mental barriers where, say you're doing 30 minutes on a treadmill, split that up, or, do a day where you just do 10 minutes, just get your body warmed up and then get to your weights. I always find that the best workouts are the workouts that you get in and get out. I don't like to be in the gym, even when I used to work out in a gym, no more than 45 minutes. Like, that's with a warm up, cool down, and then the bulk of my work. I like to get to work. I have a plan. So I never go to the gym or to my workout gym without a plan. Like, every single, if it's a run or a bike or a swim or my weight training, has protocol. So I'm always going in with a designed intention that I know what I'm doing and I'm not looking at the clock. So 45 minutes, when I do 45 minutes at 6 o'clock, like, I know 6 o'clock starts, 6:40, I'm done. But I know for that 40 minutes, I'm going to be working, and it gets very habitual. So, at 6 o'clock, your body's actually starting to get ready to do it. And when you do it for a couple of weeks, or as long as I've been doing it, your body's like, okay, 5:30, up, make coffee, drink coffee, get out to the gym and get ready to work. And then, you get done and you start doing your other daily stuff. So I find that's how you beat the mental game. Is by making it intentional and making it habitual. If you want to eat better, start making a goal of eating better, right? And writing down your foods. If you want to work out, write down what you're going to do and what your intention is for the workouts. Those are things that, people go to the gym, and I see it all the time. I used to be this person. Go to the gym and, it's chest day or leg day, but you have no plan. And then 2 people are on the machines you want or have the weights you need, and now you've got to pivot, right? So going with an intentional plan and say, and that way, okay, if I need the leg press and somebody's on, and say, hey, can I work in with you? Okay, yeah, I'm going to be doing this. What are you doing? And then, you can work off each other. If you're at home, definitely plan. My workouts are all planned. I watch a video, I do the video, I'm done with the video. And that way it takes the brain work out of it. I don't have to worry about finding weights, and I don't have to worry about what I'm doing or what moves I'm doing. It's all, I just watch and do. And that just takes out the mental part, right? You don't have to worry about, oh, what am I going to do today? How's my form? Like, I'm pretty lucky because I have my own gym. So for those that do have to go to a gym, I would be very frustrated right now. I'm very lucky that, something that Nico and I wanted to invest in. So we turned our garage into a gym, and we're able to utilize it for ourselves, and we let other people use it as well. Like Trevor. And, it's great because he lives right next door to me, and he's able to work out, and he's got goals too. And I think that's a good thing for him to show up for himself and for his family. And it's great. It's great that I can share this with him.
Yeah. A big thing you said there was that you structure your day. Like, your body has been used to a routine for so long that it kind of knows where it needs to be, and gives you kind of maybe a little bit of a craving for what you typically do at that time of day, like wake up and the coffee and the gym and the kilometers and all that stuff. And I have heard many people who are in the fitness aspect say that it's good to have a routine. And have a specific thing that you like to stick to. And it's also like a state of mind, like the kind of state of mind that you put yourself into for the day. Like, you're ready to go. You've got this stuff planned. You already know what's ahead of you. You know what you need to achieve. You check off all the boxes, and you've completed your day, and you feel like it was a successful day. one thing I wanted to talk to you about, which I've seen a little more frequently now than I did before, was Kokonana. And hopefully I'm not butchering that, but
Yeah,
I've seen it a couple times. I didn't know if
perfect.
it was, I don't know if it's a business or if it's a state of mind or if it's both, or I definitely want to know more about it. I saw the shirts coming out and I saw the sign in the garage. So just wanted to touch base on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll give you a little background. So Kokonana is back in 2011, I raced Ironman Florida and I got a pair of socks that had Kona. So Kona on them. And my wife was wearing them one day. And when you put the feet together, it says Kokonana.
Okay.
So one of our good friends that was on vacation with us said, "Oh, that's a cool name." And you know what? We just kind of endeared to that name. It just had a lot of meaning to us since then, because the subliminal was Kona, and I've always wanted to qualify for Kona. But over the years and into present day, it's morphed into the name of our Beachbody company. We're Team Kokonana, and really Kokonana has got so many meanings for many people. But I think it just means an enduring community spirit, like a community that's surrounded by, are filled with great people that want to support and help each other, and we're here for each other. And those people, the people that we have on our team, embody that spirit, and they spread it to other people, and we support each other through what I'm doing and what everybody else is doing. If somebody's having a hard day, we pick them up, and it's just kind of been kind of like our call, Kokonana. And we're trying to send a movement that community is awesome. I think a lot of people think that they have to do things alone, and to be honest, you don't. I think there's a lot more strength in community when you're looking at bigger pictures. A lot of people, take my case for instance. Who would have 50 people running kilometers for some dream that I had? And you have 50 people running kilometers for me, and it's amazing, and it's all people from our community. So it's pretty special, this thing that we've created, and we're pretty proud of it, and we're hoping to grow it even more.
Yeah, that's it's impressive to say the least. And I've heard you talk about the Beachbody workout numerous times. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know if it's like kind of a circuit or it's just something you can get like videos online. Doesn't require any equipment, or
Yeah.
like, can you touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah. So like Beachbody is it's a big online fitness platform, with a nutritional platform as well. So basically now, at one point in time, it used to be workout DVDs. Now it's all an online platform. So subscribers can get the platform for a year, and then they have access to over 1,000 workouts. I don't know how many programs, but the programs are all tailored via, week one. And then each week has its components, and they all build upon each other. So like I said, I don't have to worry about what I'm doing. I just watch the video and I do what they're telling me to do. And then I turn the mind off and I get the work done. Lots of great things. It goes from cardio to yoga to meditations to weightlifting to you name it, it has it. It's amazing.
Now, I'm assuming for the people who don't have a personal gym, I'm assuming there's a lot of options on there for workouts without equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we've invested in the weights, but there's a lot of programs that you could get away with like next to no weight. Sometimes you need a step or an elastic band or something to that effect. But yeah, nothing more than that. I always found that, and that's how we started. We might have had 5 to 15 pound dumbbells. We now have a bit of an arsenal, which is great when you have a lot of people using the gym. But yeah, you start out with what you need and where your fitness level is, and you just build from there, right? Because as you do get your fitness levels starting to raise, you start to look, oh, I need to get 20s. The only problem is right now is you can't find dumbbells anywhere.
I was just gonna say that.
COVID was really good for fitness equipment manufacturers.
Yeah. At the beginning of this COVID thing, when like last March when it first started, I remember in like the middle of summer, like around when the masks became mandatory and it looked like there was another lockdown coming in the future. I couldn't believe the prices that people were selling their workout equipment for, and like even finding new, like good luck finding a dumbbell set at Walmart or at anywhere you can order online, or like any of the fitness stores and
Yeah.
nutrition stores. Like they were just gone. Like I couldn't believe it. Like what a market for some of that
Yeah.
stuff. Like what just a couple questions here before we end. What is the hardest thing
Yeah.
that you've had to overcome with COVID-19? I feel like it's a hard topic not to touch on. We're having to Zoom like this currently right now just because of the pandemic. So I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
Um, it's a touchy subject, and let me be clear when I say this. I've had 2020 was an awesome year for me, personally, and just financially, and just just spiritually. Like I had like such a great year. It was a year where we were trying to sell the restaurant because I wanted my dad to retire, and that happened. And I was able to train, and I was able to enjoy my family, and I was stress free. And my wife, she kind of had me back, and I had an awesome year. I mean, COVID is what it is, and I'm not begrudging that at all. I'm not saying it's not bad and it's not a pandemic. I'm just saying for me, I was able to do the things that I've always dreamed of doing. I seriously trained as hard as I could all summer. I loved it. I got to do fun things, as much as fun as you could have during COVID. I was able to spend a lot of time with my family and my kids, and just do things and be around all the time and make dinner all the time and every night, and you know what I mean, like do things like that. It was super special. I feel bad for people that are still grinding. I mean, with no real end in sight, it's frustrating. Um, if anything, my heart goes out to people that are still trying to run small businesses and thrive right now, because it's not getting any easier. And obviously, with the government going into the stay-at-home orders, and harder restrictions coming in. I mean, who knows where this is going to go? This is right now. It could change even worse. I mean, really, it's hard to say. So, but to go for me, like 2020 was kind of one of those blessings in disguise. We really just were able to enjoy the best of it, make the best of it. And then that just goes back to my mindset. We could have said, oh, we can't travel this year. And we had some trips that we had to cancel, and everybody did. So, and that's how I looked at it. It's like, we're no different than anybody else. We're no more special. So what we did is we just took the best of what we could. We were able to have fires every night, and I was able to train. I think I ran something like 2,600 kilometers last year, and I biked almost 9,000. And, we went lots of day trips, like on Sundays when I would have been working in the restaurant business. You know what I mean? Like we did things that I haven't been able to do in 20 years with my family. So, I looked at it as a super blessing, and my kids loved having me around, which is great when they're 19 and 17. They're not normally looking for dad at that age. So yeah, I had a super awesome year. Totally blessed that I have a great family around me, and it was really great to enjoy, COVID 2020. I mean, we took the best that we could. That's all I can
Oh,
say.
for sure. That's all you can do. Like I remember when the pandemic first started, I was in Cuba at the end of January in 2020, and I heard about the China in November had a lot of cases of it, and then I heard that it had touched down in the States and it was making its way and it was going to end up being with us. And you kind of at first was just kind of like whatever. Like in our lifetime, I don't like we've never seen something like this. We didn't really know what to expect, what to take in on it. And 2020 wasn't a terrible year for me. Like it sucked in the aspects like I was supposed to get married last year. We weren't going to try and rush or have less of a wedding than we want just for the sake of having it a year in advance.
Mhm.
So that got pushed off. And there times in the year that were struggling. Like there was times that you really wanted to see certain family or certain friends, and it was just very hard to get together. And some of them live in certain areas that are shut down more than your area. So it's kind of hard to coordinate that stuff. But I completely agree with you. And in like March when I first, like, I remember getting laid off from work. And it was just like, at the time, it was like, I can either sit here angry at the world or pissed off about the way some kind of person is taking COVID and someone else is taking COVID and the laws that they're making us follow. And I can just be negative the whole time about the whole situation, or I can focus on me, do everything I can to make it so this pandemic doesn't spread, do my part in washing my hands and wearing my mask and doing my sanitizer, using my sanitizer. But it did give me a lot of time to sit around and plan stuff I always wanted to, and sit down and have that time with my fiance to do stuff personally, and to plan this podcast and to buy all the gear for it and come up with the idea and figure out exactly what I wanted to do and who I wanted to have on here. So I don't think it was a completely negative situation for me either. I do completely agree with you in the fact that it is very sad for certain people who have lost loved ones, or people couldn't be a part of people's special days, or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be in everyone's personal side of this whole thing. It sucks. It sucks for a lot of small business owners, and I support a lot of people locally when stuff's open. So it's hard for us too, because we want to buy the product too, and we just can't right now. So it's been a tough go
Right.
for a lot of people. So I do appreciate it. It's very nice to see you running. It's very nice to have some kind of a goal, or be behind someone on something, or just be back in that mindset of just like, he's doing this, he's out and running, it just gives people I don't know. A lot of people have been very pumped about it, and it keeps them something that they can see every morning. Like, oh, there's George Snap. Like, or there's his Facebook story.
Yeah.
There's what he's doing. He's in the gym again. He's running again. The guy has a potentially Achilles tendonitis or torn Achilles, and he's running 10 kilometers a day. And I'm sitting on this couch. Like, there's a lot of people I've talked to that are just like, it's so motivational. Like, even the fact that you got hurt and your running has been huge for people. I know it has, because it's like, okay, this guy runs all the time. He's going to do 42 kilometers a day for a month. That's absolutely impressive and out of this world. But like, I can't do that. So whatever. But then you got hurt, and now you're still putting in the time. You're still doing workouts with the parts of your body that are still working, and you're still going for runs or going for walks at least, and putting in that kilometers. And I think that it's done a lot for the community that you're definitely seeing a lot of it, but I don't know if you're like, it's crazy. I can't believe the outreach I've heard about the whole thing. The reason why I'm looking at my sheet here is because I wrote down a quote that you said at one point, and I believe it's in your Alzheimer's Society video, but it always seems impossible until it's done. And that one was huge for me. I don't know if I'd ever heard that. That's Nelson Mandela, I believe, is what you said. And it stuck with me the whole time. And I've thought about it day in, day out. And it's so true. Like, there's so many things that you could want to do, but you're so afraid of failure. And until you try to do it, it's obviously going to be impossible. So might as well give it a go and see if you can get it done. So either way, I got a little thing here for you. I'll try and get it to you whenever I can. Got this made up for you, just as a thank you for being my first podcast guest. So see if this thing makes it into the garage, or what happens with that. But either way, I wanted to.
It'll be there for sure, man.
Yeah. I thought of you the second I heard that quote. I was like, I couldn't get it out of my mind. It pushed me through a lot of stuff with the new lockdown restrictions and working from home now, and it's done a lot for me personally. And I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on this podcast and being my first guest. I can't wait to have you in person. Hopefully you'd be okay to do that when things blow over, because I feel like it's very easy to talk to you. I could talk to you for another hour. So.
Yeah, you know what? It's my pleasure. I like to talk. You know that from being in the restaurant business, and I have to get to the gab, is what people used to say. You know what? Going back to, it always seems impossible until it's done. It just goes back to, what I tried to start, but when we were talking about just running a 5K, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I could. Well, have you tried? Right? What you think is impossible might not be. You just haven't tried to do it. And a lot of people just need to break that mental barrier of, I don't know if I can, and just say, well, I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. Right? Like, no matter how long it takes, if you finish 5K and you've never done that before, that's a personal best, and that's something to be proud of. And that's another thing I always say is just focus on going one step at a time. Focus on what you can do as opposed to what you can't do. And a lot of people are always worried, oh, I've never done that before. Well, have you ever tried? a lot of people always focus on that negative part of the story, as opposed to just focusing on the positive part, and that's what's been carrying me on right now, is a lot of just thinking about, I wanted to run 31 marathons consecutively. And now that I haven't, it was a bitter pill. I was kind of disappointed, but now I see this community has grown exponentially. In 3 days, we're seeing huge impacts and big waves of impact all over our community. And I mean, the Tillsonburg and the Oxford community, amazing. But it's now reaching, all over Ontario. And, people are starting to pick up this story, and they're starting to ask me questions, and I'm getting calls from, Heart FM and CBC, and it's growing to that, and now I have nothing but to say, it's great, but it's not me running the kilometers anymore. It's my community, and that's special, right? Because it's everybody out there doing something that's for a charity, but it impacts themselves also.
Yeah, and honestly, I know you've been humble through this whole process in just thanking the community for helping you out, and thanking the community for everything they've done for you, and running beside you and supporting you and giving you the encouraging words. And all we can say back is, this is you, man. Like, you started this. You decided to go out and do this. You decided to give yourself this huge task. Like, it's such a massive thing. And I know for a fact, if you didn't get hurt, you would be still rolling through these marathons. But even though you did, the amount you've brought in a community together during a global pandemic where you can't actually see them face to face is something that you can't pay for. Obviously, we want as much money raised for Alzheimer Society. I'll definitely be putting a link below for people to go straight to the webpage to donate. But the fact that you've brought together a community, and I miss Tillsonburg. I lived there my whole life, and now I live in Tavistock. But to bring that community together during a pandemic is, like, what you've done is absolutely incredible. And I don't think there's really not a lot of words you can put to it, but your community thanks you for sure.
Well, thank you, Greg. It means a lot, and more, and every day I do cherish everybody that reaches out to send a kind word, because obviously I didn't know how this was going to go when it started, and you know what, and I'm seeing that it's been amazing, just the amount of support that I have had, and the support that the charities had, and that that anybody can start something like this, right? If you're passionate enough about something, you can make change in the world, right? A positive change. And it just takes, you're willing to put your foot out there and do some legwork, and quite literally,
Yeah, definitely.
Getting the ball rolling, you get some momentum. And when people feel that momentum, it's easy for them to start swimming with you when the current's already going that way, right? You start to feel that vibe, and the energy, and the collective energy that, one person makes, and then two people, and then 5 and 10. And, now it's 50, 100,000 people going in the same direction. It's easy to swim. But sometimes it just takes that person, and that person could be anybody, right? I think it just goes back to, just giving it a shot. Who knows what you're made of until you actually give yourself a shot.
All right. Well, just before we go, again, you're such a humble person. You're a great person to have on here. I'd have you on 1,000 times in a row if I could. We could definitely talk for another hour easily. It's so
Anytime.
easy to speak with you. And I just wanted to give you a couple seconds here at the end just to tell people where they can go to donate. Obviously, there's going to be a link below, but anything that anyone can offer to donate to the Alzheimer Society. I can't wait to see where you're at the end of the month. I'll definitely touch base with you more throughout the month. And I just wanted to thank you again for coming on here and being the first guest.
Hey, you know what, Greg? I will cherish this moment for the rest of my life. I will tell you that right now. It's been an extreme pleasure to chat with you and talk about what I've been doing and what you've been doing. Again, I will cherish this for a long time. If anybody wants to reach out, you can reach out to me directly, triathlongeorge at hotmail.com. I'm also triathlongeorge on my Instagram account as well. if you want to get a hold of me or get a link on the donation, like Greg said, it will be in the link here. But it is anything for Alzheimer's, and then you just have to put in Marathons for Memories, and that should get you to my donation page. So that should be pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely put your link in there for your Instagram and stuff too. And I'll make sure that link is there if you can send me
awesome.
through the link for the donation. And let's see where we can get this thing to, like where you can get this to. This has been huge. I can't believe it. It's amazing. I'll talk to you when this stuff is over. And again, thanks so much for taking the time out of your night.
Absolutely. I hope so.
All right. You have a great night, George.
Greg, my pleasure. Again, I hope to talk to you soon. Yeah, you as well. Bye-bye.